All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the annual Palos Heights State of the City event being presented by Mayor Bob Strauss. I am Todd Probasco, the president of the Palos Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm delighted to be here with you today as the mayor will share his insights and updates about our city. The partnership between the Chamber of Commerce and the city's leadership is crucial in keeping the residents and business owners informed about the happenings and the financial status of Palos Heights. I would like to acknowledge Mayor Nicole Milovich-Walters from Palos Park, who made it in, along with our chief of the police department, Mr. Bill Chakowski is here. Bill, thank you for coming. I would also like to thank the members of the Palos Area Chamber of Commerce, particularly our administrative assistant, Veronica Studnicka, and our board member, Rob Peppo, for supplying the food today and their help and support in organizing this event. We need to also extend our appreciation to our event sponsors. ProMedica, represented by Ingrid Grant, and Bella T Medical Aesthetics, represented by Brenda Ugardi. Thank you for your support. The State of the City address is a valuable opportunity for us to come together, gain a deeper understanding of the city's financial standings, and stay informed about the various developments and the initiatives shaping the future of Palos Heights. As we embark on this afternoon's presentation, I encourage each of you to actively engage and participate in the discussion after the mayor has completed his presentation. Now, without further ado, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mayor Bob Strauss as he shares his insights and visions for the future of our great city.
Thank you to the Chamber for having this on an annual basis, it's always nice to come out and talk to everybody about Palos Heights and what's going on. I mean, and even the best thing is the fact that so many things are positive, in Palos Heights, and this is all about the quality of life. That's kind of what been my mission in the years that I've held this office, and I think it's important that when I talk to you, you realize, what is the quality of life in Palos Heights. But let's start from the beginning here. It all kind of starts with the city finances. And you'll see here that these are our fund balances for this year. When I took office right before this, okay, in 2001, we had $250,000 in our general fund. That was it. And for the most part, that was borrowed from the water and sewer fund. Now, the residents of Palos Heights were gracious enough. We went to a referendum, and we increased the limiting rate that the city could charge, and we got a tax increase. But from then on, you can see where it's all going positive. And right now, we're sitting with a balance somewhere in the area of $6 million in the general fund balance before we had to transfer to capital budgets. But that's been fairly consistent. And that's due really to the people who sit in a city council. They have a situation where they're looking for the financial stability of the city going forward, and also to the management team that we've assembled over the years. Every department head. And it's great as being a manager from the business side to see the managers in our individual departments treat these assets we have in the city as their own. Not just that they work here. They come in and look at it as this is part of what I do, and these are my assets, and this city is mine. Even though they may not even live here, they make that commitment. And I have to say, it's been fantastic. I mean, in the number of years I've been here, I can count on one hand probably the complaints I've had about our city staff. But on the other hand, I can tell you numerous amount of times where I've had compliments on how they performed their duties for the city. I had one just last night. One of the gentlemen over at Lake Catherine sent me an email complimenting Patrick Schramm, one of our public works guys, our supervisors, as far as his abilities and what he knows about the public works area. So this is what we've got to deal with. The problem we see forward, and there's a couple things we have to look at, and these are uncertainties that are happening within the state, if you can imagine. In his budget address just recently, Governor Pritzker said he's going to cut away the 1% that we as a city get on groceries, okay? And it's not just the 1% on groceries. We get 1% of the sales tax, okay? When you go to a store, there's a 1% sales tax. That's what we get, okay? And that's what we have to live on. That's our portion from the state, one of the portions we get from the state. Well, he wants to take that away with no way of actually improving it or reconstructing it. He said, well, you guys can go ahead and you can create your own 1% sales tax by an ordinance. Well, we can't. We as in City of Palos Heights are not home rule. We don't have the ability to do that. It'd have to go to referendum, which would take some time. The other problem is that the governor has said this is going to be effective the next fiscal year for the state, which starts July 1st. Well, our year runs on a calendar year. So we're going to be halfway into our fiscal year when all of a sudden half of the money's, is going to be gone. In our case, that's $350,000 approximately a year we're going to lose in taxing revenue. Keep in mind that in many cases, like in the case with the Jewel and in situations with the Pete's Market that's going to be coming in down the block here, we make agreements with these types of businesses to share some of those tax revenues, okay? Well, if there are no tax revenues, what are we going to share? We may be responsible to give them 1% or portion of our own tax revenues or just of our operating profits or operating monies just to make up for the agreement we had. So that's what's happened. Another thing the state has done to us, and I'm not bad-mouthing the state, other towns have to live with this too, is that we have what's called the local funding distribution amount. And what that is it's your motor fuel tax, your state income tax, not the sales tax, income tax, and some other taxes that are collected by the state and given to us. Back in about 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago now, cities gave up their right to charge a city income tax, okay, in exchange for the state giving us 10% of what they collected on the state income tax. So there would be no dual taxation. Well, what the state has done over the years is cut that back from 10% down recently to 6.5%. We got it back up to 6.7%. So every year we're in a fight with the state government as far as giving us back our tax money that you said you would give us on an annual basis, and they haven't. So those are some of the problems we run into going forward. We're fortunate in the city of Palos Heights that we've had an ongoing situation here where we have actually run at a surplus. You can see it right in the corner there. There we go. Here, we had surpluses every year for the last almost 20 years. It says the last 10 years, but it's been almost for the last 20 years. And what we've been able to do, not all towns are as fortunate, but we here in Palos Heights are. So we've been able to take that money, and what we do is on an annual basis, we see how much money we have in our general account. Years ago, under our management, we set up policies that 30% of the money that we use on a monthly basis or on an annual basis has to be kept in a general fund. The balance can be transferred to a capital budget, okay, which allows us to do capital projects within the town, okay? So we've done that. So every year you can see on the bottom here, we transferred $658,000, $2,500,000, $2,900,000 to the capital budget. Right now, our capital budget is approaching $7 million. And that's important to know that we do have these projects because Palos Heights is becoming an older town. We started, City of Palos Heights will be 65 years old next month. Okay? Now, when you compare it to LaGrange and some of these, Homewood or Evanston, we're not old. But what does that mean? Our infrastructure is starting to get old, and we need to replace a lot of that infrastructure. And I'll cover that a little bit later. But what also makes it is the fact that we do have monies available. We are able to get grants from various agencies. And normally the grant is we put up 20%, the government agency puts up the other 80%. So if we in fact have monies available in capital budgets, we can get grants. So since you can see here, 2014 through 2023, we've gotten almost $7 million in grants. And those have been done for various projects throughout the town, whether it be a pool, whether it be part of the roads program, different things like that. So that's been, so since 2001, we've gotten 11 million, almost $800,000 in grants. And we can do that because we have monies available for the match. If we were running in a deficit, we wouldn't have the match, we wouldn't be able to get the grants. We would give up the 80%. What have we done over the years? Well, annually, we have a roads program. You can see here that over the last number of years, we've actually increased the amount of money we put into the roads, so that over the last 10 years, we've averaged almost $600,000 in roads every year. Again, why is that important? It's important because we've got a town that was started in 1959, and the roads have to be improved. So we do those programs every year. We have other projects coming up. Public Works, what they've done over the years, you have to keep in mind that our Public Works people run 24/7. And they're some of the most talented people you'll ever want to know. It's the fact that we don't have to subcontract a lot of this work out because we have Public Works people who can actually fill these jobs and get them done. Over the last number of years, you can see here, we've had to do some water upgrades. We've got say 1,500 foot of water main put in. And why is that? Because the water system's getting older. Okay? We painted 209 fire hydrants last year, and replaced a number of valves. One of the main things you should know as residents and business owners is that we did a complete inventory of the water services to make sure that we're in compliance with the IPEPA, and we don't have any lead services in our town. Okay? You'll see a number of towns in the suburban areas, they're having to replace their infrastructure lead pipes. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have any. There's a culvert at 123rd. For some of you who remember the old Dunlaps, okay? This is the culvert that you went in from Ridgeland to go into, to Dunlaps if you made a left-hand turn. If you got lost, sometimes that would happen. And you end up on Trinity Christian College campus. Well, that culvert over years has had to have some work done on it. And that's what's happened. We had to replace it, and through an agreement we had with Trinity Christian, we were able to spend about $500,000 to replace that culvert. But it had to be done, and they needed it to be done. Last year, for snow removal, which was not a bad year. So what we ended up doing, we used 239 tons of salt and about 3,000 gallons of brine, and we had actually very small snowfall this last year, only 10 inches compared to prior years. So we've done that fairly well. We've had to, other projects we've done. We've worked out with the Public Arts Commission, and from time to time they have some ideas as far as what should be done up there as far as having banners put up. We came up with the Honorary Street program. We helped install a new overlook over at Lake Catherine. Right across the street here, you'll see on 127th Street, after years of getting the state and petitioning the state to allow us to do that, we put a crosswalk in there so that people and the kids can come from Navajo and cross with a flashing light so they don't get hit by a car. Okay? Took a while for the state to approve that, but we put that in this last year. We got a complete remodel of Channel 4. As some of you may know, the Channel 4 studios were located in City Hall. Well, Southwest Central Dispatch, which is a dispatching service for the southwest suburbs, moved to a new location on 95th Street in Palos Hills, and we had the building for 30 years that was paid for, that we as a city owned, and we leased it to Southwest Central Dispatch. So we ended up actually just saying we're going to use it for our Channel 4. So Channel 4 now operates out of the old Southwest Central Dispatch. We also, had some other projects where been replacing the lights on Harlem Avenue. Some of the lights themselves, we're going to LED lights through a grant we've gotten from Commonwealth Edison. And that's kind of helped out because it gives more brightness to the Harlem Avenue traffic area. So those are projects that we do through the Public Works. And you can see here, as I said, not only the water system, but the sanitary systems have the same age restrictions that we've had. So over the next years, we're going to have to be looking at putting in about 5,000 feet of sewers, sanitary sewers, throughout the city. It's just something that has to be done every number of years. We're fortunate. In both cases, you see on TV where these towns are calling for federal help and state help when they have water leaks and the sewers don't work. We're not going to let that happen here. We have the management here, whether it be from the city council or it be from our staff management, are on the case as far as knowing that we need to keep these systems up and running and functioning. Because without that, this town couldn't function. So you're not going to see a situation. Now, from time to time, do we have a water main break? Sure. But that only happens. And then what that makes us do, address the situation where we either have to replace these pipes or reline these pipes to get it working. Okay, so that's what we're doing going forward. Going the wrong way. I'll get this. This is the first time I have one of these, by the way. This is pretty cool. You can tell I really have it. We're getting there. Okay, recreation. Right next door, you'll see Orchard Park. Is being completed right now. What we've done over the last couple of years, especially the last 10 years, is try to, again, update the quality of life in Palos Heights. We have seen, and I've seen some people from 128 here, we've seen an increase or a potential increase of what's going to happen with the school-age kids as far as what's going to be needed. There's going to be an inflow of kids at the lower levels, okay? Based on our data from the census, we still have not lost the age population. Okay, we've had some, obviously, you get some people who go on to nursing homes and stuff, but our average age in Palos Heights, based on our last census, is still 51 years old. And that hasn't changed by 1 or 2 years in the last couple of years. But as the younger people move in, and it's a transition thing, it comes every 10 years or so, you have people move in, people move out, you can see schools open, you see school districts that built in anticipation of a lot of growth, and then 10 years later, they're selling that property because they don't need it any longer, okay? Our school system doesn't let that kind of thing happen. So, but what they do have to do, as we do, we have to prepare for programs for these younger kids that are moving in. And that's what we're doing. In the last 10 years, with the park next door, that's the 5th park we've built in Palos Heights, additional park in Palos Heights. We have spent, in the last 10 years, about $9.5 million in recreational assets. Now, $6 million of that is the rec center that you're in and behind us, okay? But the other $3 million are parks, and that's what we've done. We've done it to make it the quality of life. And that's been done with about $800,000 of the grants that I've talked about in the past, and we got about $85,000 in donations. But those are all things that help make quality of life here in Palos Heights the best. Again, here's what we're doing with phase 1 with the pool. We got an OSLAT grant. We talked about the grants before. This pool was built in 1972. Okay? We took this, if you remember, about, I want to say 10 years ago, maybe not that long. I'll be honest with you, I was going to shut it down. It wasn't making money. The number of people who were going there on an annual basis was going down. We just had to do something with it. And we had a groundswell of residents who wanted to make the pool vibrant again. I remember when my kids are now in their mid-40s. When they were little kids, they used to go to that pool all the time, okay? And things have changed, and it stopped going. People want to go to the water parks and lazy rivers, but we have just a municipal pool, okay? We're not going to be, Wild Mountain Water Park, okay? This is where people can go and enjoy themselves, and that's what we've done. So, again, when I was going to shut it down, we had a number of residents who stood up and said, we'll make it work. And they raised money. With matching money, they got out there, got the enrollment back up again, got people coming. As strange as it may seem, we had to get more out-of-towners come in here to make it work, and they did. We had deals cut with different towns where if the residents wanted to come, we would charge them less if they would be part of our pool. And it worked. We got more people, more dollars, and it just over the years we've been able to expand it. So that's what we are doing now. We're expanding. You see the new area there. We're putting in a new slide, an additional slide. Okay, table tennis, bag tosses, some more structures as far as canopies and things such as that. So that's what's the net's going to be done, funded particularly with our money and also with an OSLET grant. Again, because we have the money to match, we can do that. Replacing the deck, you'll see there. Now obviously everything is not real wood, it makes it a lot better. I did it with my deck, so it's a lot better. Rec center, part of the recreation. This is phenomenal. I mean, back in 2020, now I realize that was a COVID year or right after the COVID year, we had about 16 or 17,000 visits to our recreation facility. Last year we had 44,000 visits on an annual basis. Okay. Our membership went from 600 in 2022 to this year we've got 775 members to the rec center because there's a need for it. Okay. We have individual people using the rec center. I mean, I have all kinds of people saying how nice it is, and it's it's not meant to be a flashy health club, but it's a recreation center for the community. Look at the the updates we've had as far as people involved in the programs. Again, since 2010, we've spent $1.6 million upgrading facilities in Palos Heights. So again, if you can get out there, enjoy it. The park has done fantastic things. Just look at the kids there. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here. We've had other things. We started a farmer's market. Now, it was like a nomad for the first couple of years. We had it over on Harlem Avenue. We had it at 183 in Harlem. We had it over here and there. Now, since we added the municipal parking lot, that's where it's been, and that's really where it's flourished. I mean, we have people come from all over. We've added a SNAP program so people can use it. We bring farmers in from Michigan. In addition to that, we've also added the winter farmers market. We have it right here in this facility, so we have people come all year round to our farmers market. We've added a concert series, thanks to CMB Bank. They sponsored our concert series. I mean, literally, we've had 500 people, I think, out there some nights to the concert. I mean, some of the groups we have. And it just gets bigger and bigger all the time. We have some local vendors that serve pizza and drinks and the like, but people really enjoy it. It's a nice summer night. You're out there sitting with your neighbors. You see people you don't see all year round, but you see them out there on a Saturday night, or on a Wednesday night or Thursday night, listening to a Chicago cover band, which are the guys that are best. I'm sorry. We've added more programs. Just for example, in 2021, we had 433 programs. Okay, and that represented about 3,800 kids that were involved in the programs. Last year, we had 602 programs. We increased our programming by 40% here in recreation in the last 3 or 4 years. We increased the participation by 45%. That's because we've got younger people moving in, they want to have programs, and we'll make those programs available for them. Business and economic development. This is what everybody talks about, you know. You talk about, you know, what can you do for the town? I mean, I guess Palos Heights, I keep telling people this, and some people agree, some don't. I mean, one of the major problems we have in developing some business in Palos Heights is that we're in the wrong location. The train is a mile west of us, okay? We don't have a downtown train station like a lot of towns. The towns that people talk about where they have the nice transit-oriented development, they have a train going through the middle of town. But we've done pretty well without that. I mean, we've taken the town on Harlem Avenue and transformed it into, if you remember, those of you who were out here, say 20 years ago or so, or 30 years ago, we had a lot of small specialty shops, okay? And you know, Cinderella shop, we had, we had two men's clothing stores, we had independent drugstores, we actually had a sporting goods shop on Harlem Avenue. Many of those things, men's stores, we had two. Those stores don't even exist anymore. So what's happened over the number of years is we've transformed downtown Palos Heights from an area of small specialty stores, and there still are some there, don't get me wrong, Golden Shoes, Norel, I mean, we've got some newer ones coming in that still supports the downtown area, don't get me wrong. But we've added a number of restaurants. Just to the point, I mean, I go to a number of meetings with mayors from around the southwest suburbs. I can't tell you how many mayors say they enjoy the restaurants in Palos Heights. I mean, it's phenomenal how they say that. We don't have chains. We have local entrepreneurs that open up these restaurants. But what that does is when you have that, it creates its own problems. Traffic flow, parking. Everybody knows here, you know, what goes on in back, and I'll go through some slides, you'll see some of that. And what we've done over the number of years is we've had some studies done, what we should do. Anything we've done down in the Palos Heights on Harlem Avenue, is done because we could do that with capital funds, okay? You know, you have a study that says you should do this, this, and this. Well, unless you make money available for it, it's not going to get done unless you've got the money internally. And we don't have all that money. But historically, what we've done is with capital funds, and the capital funds we've been diligent in keeping, you know, we've added new street signs. Just think about it. If you were here 20 years ago, you know, since then we've added new street signs. We have a Harlem Avenue. We have a median on both ends of Harlem Avenue, one at 121st and one at 133rd or so. We put new landscaping around all the trees. We bought and maintained a municipal parking lot. We had hanging baskets up. We put new wayfaring signs. We put new entrance signs. Those are all things that are superficial, but you can do them. We need some more structural changes to those buildings on Harlem Avenue. Think about it. The only changes we've had to buildings on Harlem Avenue, with maybe one exception, is where new owners took over those buildings and put the capital investment in. Whether it be a Mike Coogan, you know, or it be Dave Heidi did with the Goff Haven building. You know, we've got the Advocate building. Those are new owners that came in and refreshed the whole memory. We need to do something with that 1960 facade that's on Harlem Avenue, you know. Thatch roofs were very big in the 60s, you know, but they're not along. What we've done is we've established on Harlem Avenue a business district, okay? And that's going to allow us, along with, we're also investigating bringing the TIF district down Harlem Avenue, to have some monies to make some structural changes to the buildings on Harlem Avenue. You know, whether it be put in new sidewalks, new parking areas, you know, connectivity. I had one of the people recently tell me that they witnessed where you had an older couple, okay, in a walker. And fine, sure, they can find a parking spot at the municipal parking lot, but they got to get all the way to Capri. That's not easy, okay? We've got to make it easier for people to get around in the downtown area. And that can all be done with the funds from the business district and a TIF district if we do it on Harlem Avenue. And that's going to be coming from. So facades are nice, but parking and connectivity is a big problem, and mobility. here you see the stuff here. This is what downtown looks like. The problem we've had all throughout, again, was there's no funding mechanism to do any of this. Plus, we have so many individual property owners that trying to get everybody to agree to this stuff is terrible. But you can make them agree a lot easier if you're going to pay for it, okay? They may be a little more willing to do something. Hey, you want to do that? Well, it's going to cost money. We'll pay for it. Okay, we'll do it. We'll redo all the parking areas. So that's what we're looking to do. We haven't given up on the municipal parking lot off behind Capri, right there. We still have that property. Again, those are things that have to be done for basic connectivity. These are examples of what can be done in that area. Again, short of the fact we don't have a train station, we can still do things down Harlem Avenue. New signs. We have some nice new signs on Harlem Avenue, but damn, they're small. I mean, you know, try to see. You go down Harlem Avenue, there's a sign there that says where the library is. You can barely see it, okay? We need to make it bigger so people can know where the library is, where Trinity Christian College is, where Northwestern Medicine's at. Building department, a lot of things going on in the building department. You know, I was talking to the building commissioner this morning. We've got a lot of new building people in for permits and the like, which is great. You know, people want to live in Palos Heights, whether it be because of the current administration. That's not true. You know, we've got great schools, great recreation facilities, great medical care coverage out here, as far as, you know, that type of thing. The quality of life, that's what brings people out here. Our town, our city is affordable. You know, I'm to an age where as I mentioned earlier, I've got kids that are in their 40s. All the friends live in western suburbs, Willow Springs, Western Springs, LaGrange. Well, those houses are probably about 30% higher than they are here, and we have just as good of school districts, okay? We have just as good as recreation facilities. How many grocery stores are in LaGrange? None. We've got one, coming to have two here, okay? That's what you got to think about. Where is the quality of life to be? You know, we've got Northwestern Hospital, obviously has acquired the Palos Hospital. They're going to do a lot of changes around here as far as the quality of life, what's going on. Whether it be expanding the facilities they have, the different types of disciplines they bring here. Believe me, in the next 10 years, you're going to see our area hospital become a regional caregiver for Chicago with Northwestern here. It's going to be like day and night. This is just some, obviously, information here. Last year, we issued 911 permits. You know, we collected, $266,000. We had 4 new single-family homes. We're seeing that again. If we had that a number of years ago, we had the McMansions being in there, but now what you're seeing people buying small houses, tearing them down. There's one right around the corner for me. You know, it's a small house, white frame house. It's gone. There's a 2-story, 3-car garage house being built there now. It should be done in about 2 months. I mean, that's what's happening. People are willing to buy the lot, buy the neighborhood, buy the quality of life that we give them here. And that's what we're selling, and that's what happens. Police department, what can I say? One of the best police departments in the south and southwest suburbs, if not more. A new chief this year, Bill Chakowski, over there. Larry finally left. It took a while. But then also Jeff Crowley's been a while. He was promoted to deputy chief. We've had a couple more promotions to sergeant. And there you see the young group of officers we have. Our officers are by far some of the best trained officers you'll have. I mean, just look here. This is an annual report. The number of calls we had last year, 16,000 calls. Hit and run 60. But one of the most important things is this area down here, training. 3,806 training hours for our officers. That's on about 30 people, give or take. Okay? That's how much training. Almost 100 hours apiece go through training for these guys. Okay? We've been fortunate that we, as an office, as far as law enforcement is concerned, we're a place that people want to end up at. We've had a number of, the last couple of times we've hired, I talked to a lot of mayors who said they run a test for hiring, and they get very few people nowadays with the sentiment about law enforcement apply. We get people apply. The last number of people, and I can't, since 15 years since we had to have somebody go through the academy, because they're coming from another department, because they want to be in Palos Heights, because we're known for the professionalism that's carried out in our department. Okay? One of the things we can really be proud of is we started a mental health team. Okay? We handled 156 cases last year, mental health. And this is the buzz you're hearing, that people, we're sending police to people all the time, and, maybe we could actually stop a crime or something by intervention of mental health. This is what we're doing. We do assist on domestic calls. You can see 63% of those are Palos Heights residents, okay? And 59% were undiagnosed or didn't know what their diagnoses were. They didn't know they needed the help. We gave them the help, and we followed up on it. And again, unfortunate, but the 15% on the bottom, are abuse of substance abuse. And that's just the reality of what life is today. We also have, at any given time, 1, 2, or 3 officers in federal drug enforcement groups. Okay, we put them out there. We fund them. We get paid by the amount of bounty, shall we say, that they collect. So over the years, we've collected $1.3 million in narcotics proceeds. 128, this is last year, 128 kilograms of cocaine. You just see it, 5 firearms, 2 vehicle seizures. We sell that stuff, not the cocaine, but there's cash too involved in that. And we get the proceeds. The other day we got a $200,000 check from the government, okay? What it does, besides the monetary side of it, it gives our people investigative skills and experience they're not going to get for the most part on the suburban street. But they can take those skills and bring them to the suburban street. We have we're involved in the Metropolitan, Major Crimes Task Force. When they had the shooting out in Orland Park, we had people out there. We have a shooting east of here. We have people there doing the investigation, okay? We brought in specialty equipment. By next year, we have to have body cams on everybody. Okay, it's going to cost us about $150,000. We also have a drone. We have drones now with drone pilots. We have flock cameras, which are license plate readers. I won't make any excuses for having license plate readers. I think it provides a great protection for the city. For example, just again, going back to the shooting in Orland, by the time the people got out of there, the license plate reader picked up their license plates. They were found somewhere else. The car was found somewhere else, just going through Chicagoland. I mean, it's something, we've had small cases here where the perpetrator creates the offense. By the time he gets to where he's going, we already know where he's at and have picked up the car. So, I mean, it's a fantastic protection mechanism for people with Palos Heights. We also are going to put a security camera on the municipal parking lot so that people feel comfortable parking there. I mean, we never had any problems, but we just don't want to have any problems. So those are the kind of things that we've got. We actually we have our first electric car. That's kind of cool. You got a Tesla for what it's worth. And again, those were all funded out of drug asset forfeiture money. We have not bought a police car since I've been here. Okay, the whole police department was funded by drug asset forfeiture money. That's the kind of things, don't think about it. Besides the training that the officers get, there's also a financial side of it to us where we can get a lot more modern equipment. Lake Catherine, they've got, they're going to have a boathouse they're going to name after me for some reason, I don't know. But they've done a lot of plantings over the years. Look at that, you've got 2,000 hours of volunteers, which included 26 restoration days. We had 5,000 people in the kids programs, in the learning programs, and 15 senior programs. I mean, we've got trees that people dedicate to their. Lake Catherine is the jewel of the southwest suburbs, okay? We all know that. People come from all over to walk Lake Catherine, just for the tranquility. We finally will finish putting, at least I'm going to say this, we're finally going to finish finishing the parking lot, okay, to have additional parking. We made a mistake, I don't know, we went through and we talked about grants. I had MWRD going to pay for part of it. The state going to pay for the rest of it. It wasn't going to cost us anything. It's taken like 5 years. I mean, just because of all the bureaucracy you had to deal with. But, you know, at least we got the money for nothing. So that's, I guess, if there is such a thing in the government. So, again, we had 500 rentals last year, kayaks and canoe trips, 3,600 people usages of that. Those were canoes and kayaks that were given by, donated by the Beautification Committee, which is another big committee we have here in town that does a lot of things. And that's what we've done in Lake Catherine. It's just been fantastic. Again, there's the house, the burn there you see. I guess that's a prescribed burn, right, Gareth? Okay, all right. Thank you. That's good, right? Okay. We got cicadas coming this year, right? Some cicadas coming this year. Kids programs, you can see how the kids can enjoy it out there. The library, I mean, think about it, you know, 110,000 visitors went to the library last year. I mean, I remember when the library was going for a referendum to build an addition, someone told me, one of my neighbors actually, we were sitting in front in I think it was a block party or whatever. He says, I'm not going to vote for that referendum. Libraries are going to be obsolete in 10 years. You can see they're not obsolete anymore. People use them for a resource. There's a lot of use for our library as other libraries. So again, look at the increase, a 19% increase in the number of items from one year to the next. How many items were borrowed? Look at it. 577 programs, a 72% increase over the prior year. I mean, there's people can just go there and sit and read. My wife does that, Madeline. She goes and sits and reads a book, just has quiet time, and she notices a lot of people there. Public Arts Commission has been very helpful over the last couple of years. We've added the lights in the heights for those of you who are around here at Christmas time. Right around City Hall and the gazebo. We've added a number of attractions where you have people come out at night and then they have hot chocolate and they have music and people just walk around. You walk through the demonstrations, all the lights. The Arts Commission, we've added a number of sculptures. We have sculptures and murals all over town. If you haven't seen it, go to the website for the Public Arts Commission. You can see where they all are. We brought in 18 sculptures throughout the town. Last year they ran a trip. They took a little bus trip all through town. There's some down by the schools. There's some down by the train station in Lake Catherine, right in front of City Hall. And they were donated by a doctor from Burr Ridge. He had them in his collection, and we got him to donate them to us. Again, Channel 4, last year, 387 shows were aired. And we got over 28,000 views. Known basically as one of the best cable outlets in the southwest suburbs, if not the state. I mean, and actually that's come from Comcast telling us that. So, transparency, I mean, people say they don't know what's going on. I don't know how they couldn't. I mean, here's where we give everything, you know. We have a web page that has all our minutes, has all the links to YouTube's. We have, again, they're actually all the meetings themselves. The council meetings are broadcast on our on TV and also on the web page. Facebook, we've got 3,700 followers, as we do with Twitter. So the information's out there if people want to find it. And again, we're here for whenever has a question. I don't think I've ever not answered somebody. Local businesses, we love local businesses. We'll continue to support the local businesses. I mean, next, I guess today was our soft opening. We have a new restaurant opening up on Southwest Highway, for those of you who don't know, where Trio Lounge used to be, and right near the train station called Oranges. It's a breakfast lunch place. I just happened to see their menu before I came over. Looked like a very nice place. They spent a lot of time, a lot of money upgrading it, but it's right next to Honey Baked Ham over there. So we're starting to fill up that corridor on Southwest Highway there. You got Dunkin' Donuts, CVS, Dunkin' Donuts, now this. So things are moving that way too. And but again, those are new businesses that want to be in Palos Heights, and we can give them the support to be in Palos Heights. So thank you again. If any questions, I'd be glad to answer. Anybody have any questions? If you don't feel comfortable asking now, come and see me, call me, or come back up there.